Good morning, people of Twitch. Welcome to a channel where I don't speak like that. Oh, my name is Graham Day. This is Babe. We are Ice Cream Uploads, and welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. How is everyone doing today? If you're in the chat, please feel free to say hello. And how are you doing today, Babe?
I'm doing fabulous. I'm doing great. It's Friday. Nothing to do this weekend.
It is Friday.
Friday?
It is.
Yeah, it is. Jesus.
Just confused then.
You sent me under then.
It is Friday. It is Friday. If you are in the chat, as Chucky has just done, please feel free to get involved. Chucky's used one of our exclusive subscriber emotes as well that sounds a little bit like this.
Hello.
Yeah. Morning, Chucky. How's things? How you doing? How's your day going? If you're in the chat, like I've mentioned a few times, please feel free to get involved because we are live right now on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. But that isn't the entirety of this content. We turn this live stream into a podcast and a video that goes up on YouTube. The audio podcast goes out on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. So please feel free to get involved and use your voice in the chat. And it's important that you do because this is The Scoop, your daily dose of news from the world of video games. And do you know what? Some people, me and Bip, might say this is the UK's #1 video game podcast, and they wouldn't be wrong, but it isn't that without your guys' input too, so feel free to get involved on behalf of everyone else that is watching on demand and can't be here right now live with us on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. Get involved in the conversation. Chappers, good morning. Madge, good morning. Mr. Jim Butters as well, good morning. Lots of hellos in the chat this morning. Hey.
Yeah.
Nice Skyvy Friday. This is what we like to see. Yeah.
Skyvy Friday.
Is everyone at work? Is everyone at home? Is everyone dual wielding work and the Scoop? Let us know. Feel free to let us know in the chat. I mean, obviously, the good thing with the Scoop is it's not mega intensive. You don't necessarily need to watch our gameplay. That does follow later on, though. You can just chill with us on in the background while you're cracking on at work. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. That's the pleasure. But anyway, we'll get involved in the news. We have a few stories for you today. Not anything major. We do revisit a heated story from last week, though, which is nice. So that means the Scoop's going to be about 3 hours long because we're like a good chinwag over here. But yes, we'll jump into the news. It should take too long, and then we will follow up with Masters of the League. If you don't know what that is our PC PES Master League. Fully modded to the tits is the technical term. And we'll be playing that from around 12 noon once we finish the Scoop. Maybe a little bit after because obviously we started late today. Luke A25, good morning to you chaps.
Morning.
Luke A25, is that a rename or is that a new name? Good morning, Luke. I genuinely saw in my head Pez Luke, but is that Pez Luke? Is it not Pez Luke? I don't know. Good morning though. Welcome in. Madge says I work in a home, but as I've not had my morning break, I'm taking it now. Yeah, good point. At this point, I work while I watch Ice Cream Uploads, says Chappers. Not the other way around. Yeah. I watch Ice Cream. And then the work happens whilst I'm watching it. I get you. Rename, I was Pez Luke, but changed it because I've not played the game in ages. Well, there you go. See, I knew. Do you know what? That's the thing. When I was saying, like, your name in chat can often have a colour. Some people choose their colour. Some people just go with whatever they want. Because you can. A lot of people don't actually know that. You can actually predefine what colour you want your name to be in Twitch chat. Anyway, Luke usually has that purpley colour for me. Watch it not be purple for him, but that's what it was. That's what it did for me.
Yeah.
Is it 10ish already? It's a little bit after 10 today. We actually went live about 3 minutes past 11 today, so we missed. Although that is because we were adding something to Masters of the League, so that should be in the next episode for you to see. Do you know what we actually never did? We never put out a poll asking who should be player of the year. It's all right. Bib can put that out now whilst I'm doing this, and we can just have the poll running for an hour, and then we can get it done. So jobs are gone. So for those who didn't see it, Masters of the League took place on Monday and Wednesday, as it usually does. The next episode is Friday, which is today. In the last episode, we were taking votes for players of the season. Costello was going to be one of them. The other one, basically favourite players, that's a function within the game. We get to choose two. So Costello was one, and the other one was set to be either, was it Safanov, Davis, Dodo, or Isak.
Yeah.
So those were the 4 options. We're going to put the poll on Twitter. Feel free to vote on that, and the results of that will be included in the next stream that follows this. Like I said, we do have something else in the stream, so keep your eyes out for that. We won't say anything because it's pretty much easily spoilable, but there you go. And other things to mention: if you want to win a retro gaming console, exclamation mark giveaway, we'll give you that in the chat. If you want discount on the Muscle Moose products that you could just see, well, just gone off screen, but exclamation mark Muscle Moose will give you that. And yeah, that's it. Oh, actually, the loot drop, exclamation mark loot drop, will give you. Do you know? I'll type these for you. Exclamation mark giveaway. Boop. There you go. There's the link to our running giveaway. Exclamation mark Muscle Moose. There's a link to save 25% on Muscle Moose if you want it. And exclamation mark loot drop. There is a link to how all subscribers, if you're a subscriber to Ice Cream Uploads, a lot of you in the chat are, please make sure that you've linked your Discord and your Twitch and you've joined our Discord, because you're missing out on the opportunity to win free prizes if you don't. If you paid for your subscription, get your free prizes. That's it. And even if you don't pay for your subscription, hey, Mr. Tharian Drake, thank you very much with the raid, dropping the raid. Are we on Rainbow Six? Are we on Siege, or have we been playing Conqueror's Blade? What is it? MS Pain, hey, welcome back. How are you doing? Luke Hay says, slightly off subject, but Bibbs, are you excited that Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck are back as Batman in the Flash movie?
I seen that Ben Affleck was back in it, but I didn't know that Michael Keaton was going to be in it. So yes, that excites me greatly. I seen yesterday a few people tweeting about Ben Affleck being back in it, and obviously because a lot of people didn't like Ben Affleck, but I did not know that Michael Keaton was going to be back in it. That is the kind of news that I need to hear on a Friday morning. I'm about 3 seconds away from running downstairs and telling Samantha as well, because Michael Keaton is not only one of the best actors ever, he was also a fantastic Batman as well.
I mean, I agree with that. I mean, if anyone has seen his world-renowned film that is Jack Frost, it's fucking exceptional. Genuinely, he plays the best snowman you have ever seen on screen. It's ridiculous. It's so good. Yep. Moving. Conqueror's Blade says Tharian Drake. Good morning, Raiders. Nice one, Madge. Welcome in the Raiders. If you're new here, please feel free to hit the follow button. If you want to, it's free. You don't have to. We are in the middle. Oh, I said the middle, right at the start of the scoop. We're going to run through the biggest stories in video games right now. And on that note, let's jump straight in. Actually. First news story of the day is that Sony pushes the DualSense, the new controller, in the first PlayStation 5 TV ad. This is written by Andy Robinson for the VGC website and says, ad welcomes viewers to a new world of immersion. The first PlayStation 5 television advert was briefly published by the firm's Hungarian YouTube account on Thursday. The ad, now removed but mirrored below, focuses on the new features of the PS5's DualSense controller and welcomes viewers to a new world of immersion. DualSense is set to feature haptic feedback and adaptive triggers, among other features. Update: PlayStation has officially revealed the advert. So the firm's marketing VP Mary Yee said on PlayStation.com, "Today, I am pleased to share with you our first global spot for PlayStation that showcases some of the immersive gameplay you will experience on the new PS5 console. In our first global digital ad for the PS5 console, you'll see the new console's features come to life through a young woman's eyes and her movements." So this is back to the original story. PS5 advertising also appeared on pitch boards during UEFA Champions League matches this month, featuring the console's marketing slogan, "Play has no limits." PlayStation is a sponsor of the football tournament, with the final set to take place this Sunday, August 23rd. It's possible today's PS5 ad was intended to premiere during the match coverage. Sony will reportedly reveal its next announcement regarding PS5 this month, and that's according to a new report from Bloomberg, which cites an anonymous source from the PlayStation firm. The publication did not specify if the announcement would come via a digital event or a scheduled news drop, such as the one clarifying PS5's compatibility with PS4 accessories published this month. Sony is yet to reveal release or pricing information for the PS5, and August could potentially fit with the traditional timeline for pre-orders. Macquarie Capital analyst Damien Thong recently told Bloomberg he expects the standard PS5 console to cost around $500 and the digital version around $400. Although altogether, the analyst expects Sony to sell more than 6 million units by the end of March next year. Do you know what? We'll stop there because we don't need to go into sales targets. I will hit play on this PlayStation 5 Has No Limits trailer. Play Has No Limits trailer. Whilst I ask Bib, what are your thoughts?
Going to be perfectly honest, didn't hear a lot of that because I was writing the tweet, which is now live. Boom. There you go. Vote for your player of the season right there. Um, I'm. I didn't read a lot of it this morning because I was expecting to read it now. So, yes, TV advert. I mean, the title suggests. I'll go for the title. The title suggests that it's. Well, I don't understand why they're going to be focusing on the DualShock more than anything. That's it. That seems really weird. I mean, is it because they don't want to show much of the console off at this point?
I think it's probably a case of they're focusing on the DualSense because they've got nothing else really to focus on. We've seen what the
Yeah,
console can
they do
do,
way too much, wouldn't they?
and we have numbers and things about the floppy terrors and the tracing of the rays that they do. That's teraflops and ray tracing, by the way. So we have. I'm just trying to keep one eye on this trailer. Is this just showing sort of, yeah, this has to be the fact that she just pulled back on a bow then and let go of it. That the idea of that is to show haptic triggers. I mean, the only thing, I mean, I love the idea of these haptic triggers, like haptic feedback, adaptive triggers. But the only thing we know that they can do, actually, I'll jump into the split screen. The only thing they can do is give you the resistance that you'd get of a tensile like pullback on a bow and arrow. They've mentioned that, and now we've seen that in the trailer. What else would it do? But yeah, anyway, the only reason we're showing the showing on the DualSense 5 because that's the only thing we've had a deep dive into. We've seen the product, we've seen it being shown physically by Jeff Keighley in the Summer Game Fest stuff. And it's out there. People have it, so that's something that they can show off. But it's just a bit.
Yeah.
We've had this.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of noise being made around this trailer anyway. For being honest, it's not going to be. It's not the biggest marketing message that they're going to have in terms of a video going out. Is it? Let's be honest. No, having a new controller is nice. If it, as it's functional, it's going to be great. However, if that's your main talking point of a console, new gen console coming out, I think there's something else behind the scenes that's not being said yet. If this is your first advert, you want to show off an advert about your new console, and they're going to go with a controller, doesn't necessarily fill you with the greatest of confidence, does it?
I'm guessing they were going for the. Oh yeah, we'll put this out in the middle of the Champions League final, and people that may have heard PlayStation stuff but not seen PlayStation stuff. So obviously, the Champions League final is one of the most watched sporting events in the world. And you've got lots of sports fans, lots of gaming fans, and lots of non-gaming fans. So loads of people who probably haven't heard anything about the PS5 will see this new advert, be like, "Ooh, this looks like a shiny new game. Ooh, new functions and a new control. Let's get that." So for those people that haven't seen this will be quite nice. However, I think the issue here is like the first line says the first PlayStation 5 television advert was briefly published by the firm's Hungarian YouTube account on Thursday. Some social media junior in Hungary who's doing the PlayStation stuff has just been told, do you know, I'll put that on the channel. Make sure it's not listed or anything. It's like, yep, make sure it's listed. Fine, boom, straight on the channel. Bosh, done it. And then everyone's like, so yeah, someone somewhere has meant to put this on, meant it to be sat there ready to go, so that they can get the URL, they can drop it in all the press releases, and they can share it alongside the advert going out in the UEFA Champions League final. And it's just gone out. So PlayStation have this is not confirmed, by the way. This is just my assumption on knowing how things tend to happen in video games and so on. PlayStation has then just gone, boom, fuck it, let's take it off the Hungarian account, let's put it on the main global account, and then share it because that's what everyone's seen it. Fine, we'll pretend it's supposed to have gone now, and either we just share it again in the Champions League final, or we just put something else that wasn't supposed to go out yet in the Champions League final.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nice to see. It's nice to have a cool little trailer and stuff with it. I've been at the point of fatigue for too long now. I'm not that bothered. I've seen technical deep dives from Mark Cherney in the PlayStation architecture where he went over the DualSense 5 after he'd already gone over the DualSense controller in
Yeah.
previous written statements. So we've had written statements, we've had the deep dive, we've had views of it, we've seen Jeff Keighley and co play with it. Another advert about it. It's just give me more. Tell me how much it's going to be. Let me pre-order it. Do something like that rather than just.
I can't believe that we're like 3 months away from release and we don't know anything about it. Like we don't know price points. That's usually the most important thing. Like, fair enough, you're going to get all the terafloppies, but just give me an idea of how much I need to save up.
No, I agree. I agree. David says, "I wonder if Grant Gustin will be in it to pay off when Ezra Miller appeared in the TV show version of Crisis." Is Grant Gustin? Is he the Flash? He is the Flash in the TV series, I think. I don't know. Maybe he's not. I don't know. I can't remember. Birdman, cracking film, says Tito. The hype's finally coming from these two consoles, says Chappers. Tad late by about a year, but they'll still sell big ting. No price point yet, though. I think that's the thing. I mean, the hype is coming, and I'm so excited to finally have the hype. We've been waiting for this forever. I mean, from a scoop perspective, we started really heavily talking about consoles when we got our first official sort of news. Maybe even just before that. So November-ish last year, we'll say. We'll have been talking about it heavily for a year. But we are 8 months into that, 9 months into that, and we still don't have solid details. Usually when you get the price point isn't just a case of, oh, we know how much it costs now. The price point is that, but mixed with firm details. Because if you're asking someone to put money down, you need to be getting rid of doubt. You need to have, okay, this is what you are buying with your money. You're committing to a transaction. So if you're committing to a transaction, you can't go, it does stuff. Yeah, we'll tell you more soon. It's like, no, you want me to give you my money. You need to tell me what it does now. I need to know what I'm investing in. So the price point, the reason that's such a big thing is because that gets rid of a lot of doubt. There will still be some, especially gameplay comparisons like backwards compatible versus full next gen glory kind of thing. That stuff will still be there until people actually get their hands on the consoles. But price point brings the hype because you know what you're investing in. A price point, when you commit to a price, you're committing to delivering a minimum. And that minimum lets us know exactly where our hype should be. So yeah, the hype train is finally starting, but without that price point, it's not quite right. It's more of a hype. I don't know what's a lesser version of a train. I don't know what some flawed euphemism there. I don't know whatever. Anyway, I wonder if there were secret
Tram.
Yeah, there we go. A hype tram. That's what it is. It's a hype tram, not a hype train. Wonder if they'll be secretly hoping people buy the digital version so people will be tied into store prices. Potentially, they potentially could be. And not only are they getting store prices, but they're not paying for distribution chains. They're not having to pay for as much out-of-home advertising in terms of the point of sale stuff that you would get in a store. PlayStation pay for that and then, ship that to all of the big stores with the games. So more people buying digital, there's less cost there as well. It's horrible.
Do you reckon then? Sorry, go on.
I'm going to say it's horrible for indies, but yeah, what were you saying?
Do you reckon we would have seen something more had we have had the big conferences this year? Can they have been forced into showing something?
Probably. We probably would have seen things earlier. The fact that we are in this new normal or temporary normal or whatever it is, means that they've kind of got a pass to hold their cards close to their chest for longer. There's a reliance on E3 and the ESA to deliver the news out to the world, to make sure that people know about your consoles, to make sure that you get mainstream publication. But this year's kind of proved that they don't really need that. So it will be interesting to see if that changes going forward. But yeah, the fact that they haven't had an E3 schedule to keep to has meant that they can just do what they want. They can take their time and they can do things to their own level and do it badly if they want to. And when I say that, I mean the Xbox conference that had poor gameplay, the PlayStation conference that didn't really hit everyone with the games that they wanted and things like that. People, I mean, I was happy with all the conferences, if I'm being honest. But obviously the fact that they can choose to, rather than just go, boom, here's the PlayStation, this is what it looks like, and it's cheaper than the Xbox, and pow, pow, pow. It's, okay, we do what we want on our own schedule, so we'll do less of it because we don't really need to force it. So yeah, I think if we'd have had E3s and stuff, we might have seen things going earlier than we have right now. That said, though, Halo's not in a great situation right now, and that was shown after E3. We're in August kind of time. E3 would have been start of June, so if Halo's still not great now, maybe we wouldn't have seen anything back then. We obviously did see some content around the E3 sort of time, but yeah, we haven't seen that much. Anyway, let's jump back through the chat because there is quite a lot. You guys are all talkative this morning. That seemed a confusing trailer to publicise the controller features. Yeah, I think it's because they've kind of done that heavily elsewhere. They just wanted to show off some stuff. So I was drawing the line of when you see her pulling the ball back, that's like where the triggers get like difficult that the further you pull it back. So I know that, and I can see that because I've seen what they've written before. But a lot of people would just see that as it's a person with a bow, yay! So I agree with that. It doesn't necessarily do it justice. It's super heavy console. It's a Salty Dog. Hope the controller isn't. See, I don't mind a heavy controller. Not too heavy, but I don't mind a controller that's got a bit of substance to it. I'd rather have a controller that's a bit heavier and blockier than one that feels a bit like flimsy plasticky. Just because when you concede that 92nd minute goal that loses you the game and knocks you out of the cup, and you're like, and you don't want the controller to fall to bits in your hands. But obviously, I'm keeping my reserve for this. Sony made a big deal about the DS4 with touchpad and the little speaker in it, etc., etc. So I'll wait and see. That's a good shout. It's a good shout. It's a good shout. I mean, it was ridiculously good. Playing Resogun in the dark in the first few days of having the console in that December when I picked it up from Sainsbury's, just sat there and it's going buzz, buzz, and it's like making noise in my mouth. But yeah, everyone plays with headsets and stuff pretty much now because of the games, video games evolution over the last year in audio and stuff like in terms of 360 sound in video games like battle royales and shooters and so on. So yeah, I don't even hear my controller having a speaker in it anymore. So yeah. The best video I've seen about the controller was Jeff Keighley holding one and describing how it felt in his fingers. Yeah, exactly. See, we've had that kind of stuff, so we don't really need the marketing spiel next. I mean, it's always useful, but give us the details. Give us something more about the console. When, how much, what else is coming to it? Not the same thing, but repackaged. It's a controller. Nice. It's a control pad. Okay, it's a controlling device. Okay, it's literally the same thing, but okay, what else does it do? Well, you can control the games using this. I know that, you've said that. What else? Tell me something about the PlayStation. Something about the PlayStation. Yes, it can be controlled with the pad. I know! You're fucking telling me the same things over and over again. Give me something new. Excuse me. Were they so mysterious with the PS4 and Xbox One launch with price, etc. this close to release? No, it was a much different thing. Chapper's answering it for you. Now, they released the price back at E3 before they dropped, and then Xbox changed their price because they were about £150 more than a PS4 because of the Kinect being included, but we knew roughly about the price 7 months before their release. There you go, exactly. And the thing is, the E3 schedule, they always kind of tend to follow the first thing. Xbox goes first, and then you have like a few other ones. You might have the Ubisoft one, or Devolver usually follows a little bit later, but you might have like a Ubisoft one in there, a Bethesda one, and then late on in the day, a silly o'clock in the morning for us in the UK, you get the PlayStation one. So Xbox went first and absolutely like nailed their TV messaging. So they didn't have a good handle on their messaging, which meant a lot of people that were watching it, a lot of the journalists that were there covering it, were all just kind of like, is this a games console or is this a media device? Because I want the next gen games console. I don't want a media device, and it's pretty expensive. So what Sony did, Sony had a very Apple-esque sort of screen, pretty much plain with like the price in big white letters on the screen, or numbers should I say, and you just know that there's a huge chance that price was bigger numbers before. It might have been 500, but then when Xbox came out, what they went, okay, we'll change the 5 to a 3. And we'll drop that one down too, so it's cheaper. Hey! So not only did they have clearer messaging, but they also had a cheaper price point. So they absolutely nailed it, which is where we are now. Nobody wants to reveal the price because that move by getting the price lower for PlayStation significantly put a nail in the coffin. Not necessarily the final nail, because it didn't obviously end it off. Xbox ended the generation really well, but at the start of the generation, Xbox's messaging weakened them, and the price point just ruined them. PlayStation played an absolute blinder on that, which is why nobody wants to go first. Because as soon as one goes first, the next one will either go, okay, well we'll match that, and then it's fine. It's whatever. Everyone carries as normal. But if the other one then goes, oh yeah, we're £100 cheaper, then it all starts again. Then It's 3 months till release, and we've not got much to go yet off price wise, other than the magical sword, magical word speculation. Sword, it looked like sword to me. You two getting PS5 from launch? Yes, PS5
Hopefully.
will be my launch console. I imagine that they are generally concerned how to market a price when huge swathes of the public are facing redundancy this holiday season. I mean, that is something. Do you know? I think that'll be less of a concern. I think there will be massive redundancies. We're in the middle of a fucking huge recession, or at the start of a huge recession, so there will be massive redundancies. But I don't think PlayStation will factor that in because supply and demand, I reckon there's not going to be enough supply for the demand anyway. I reckon there'll be enough supply, more supply than we would have expected. But supply and demand, I think, will still work in their favour where they can just maintain their prices. So whilst it's something they will consider, I don't think it will be their primary consideration. It will be for people like us that have to deal with the realities and stuff of it. But PlayStation know that a lot of people are going to be made redundant, but there's still a lot of people out there that will have flexible income. There's still a lot of people out there that will sacrifice everything to get their kids that Christmas present, even if it means that they're going out at Christmas or going without at Christmas. So I think it's a big thing, but I don't think they'll factor that in as much. I play with headsets and everything except football games, but I'll probably do that for them too at some point. I mean, I do now because I'm here in my room. Although I say that, no, I don't. When I'm playing PES, I change to so I have 2 side speakers that you can't see behind my screens, and a big bassy subwoofer under the desk as well. So when I'm not playing a battle royale or anything like that, or anything super immersive, that I need the 360 audio, change to the speakers and the subwoofer. And PES is one of those, which is nice. So you get the football like I see you vibes. Also unrelated, have you seen that Harry Maguire's been arrested in Greece? We have. Me and Bib were checking that out this morning. All ICU subscribers, tier 1, 2, 3, and Prime will be entered into a monthly giveaway in the ICU Discord. Type !_ Discord for the link. So that is the loot drop, by the way. The auto message there. Jojo Leem says, "Hello, is it me?" Oh no, it doesn't say that bit. But anyway, good morning, guys. Good morning. So, what do you guys think? Quick finger in the wind, sort of like opinions in the chat before we move ahead. The PS5 DualSense has been shown in the first PlayStation 5 TV ad. Are we excited about that? Does that give you the feeling that more is to come? Now PlayStation is on TV, they are comfortable enough with we're talking on TV. Does that mean we get more? Or is it just a case of it's the same again? I mean, it is the same again, but it's in a new medium. So is it the start of something new? How do you guys kind of feel about it? Chapper says, apparently Maguire was having a punch-up with police. Hopefully he was doing the punching because he can't defend for shit. Fuck off.
Gary Wackett.
Who is that? I can't see who that is. I got an itch in my eye. Who is the dude on the emotes? I can't tell. Okay, now I've clicked on it. It's a guy with a beard. I don't know. Anyway, let's move ahead. Whilst you guys give us your feedback, let's move ahead. So the DualSense has been seen on TV. It's you know, I don't even know how to say that. Nope, I'm gonna give up. Let's move ahead. Next bit of news, written by Sherif Saed for VG247, says Control Publisher has somewhat of an explanation for why only Ultimate Edition owners get next-gen upgrades. Madge says, actually, before we jump into this, Madge says, right now, I just want to know how much they want from me to buy either PlayStation console. I don't really care about anything else. Bear with me 1 sec. And I may have had my mic muted then, just so I could blow my nose and chat to Bib without blowing my nose. That's the way we do it. Anyway, back into the article. 505 Games is very aware of the reaction to its recent decision with Control Ultimate Edition. A week ago, Remedy and 505 Games announced that the Control Ultimate Edition, a complete package that includes the base game as well as all post-launch expansions. Well, they announced it, and then what the Ultimate Edition includes is identical in terms of content to what you get by buying the base game and the season pass separately. However, only Ultimate Edition owners get a free upgrade to PS5 and Xbox Series X. This bizarre distinction hasn't been very well received by many, particularly those who already own all of the content in the Ultimate Edition and don't see the point in rebuying it. In a blog post, publisher 505 Games attempted to explain why that is, though the explanation is hardly convincing. We spent several months exploring all of our launch options for the Control Ultimate Edition, and no decision was taken lightly, wrote 505 Games. Every avenue we pursued, there was some form of blocker, and those blockers meant that at least one group of players ended up being left out of the upgrade for various reasons. As of today, we can't offer an upgrade to everyone, and leaving any one group out feels unfair. We understand that is not what you want to hear. Specifically addressing how both the Ultimate Edition and the game with the Season Pass are essentially the same thing, 505 Games said that the goal with the former was to offer the full Control gameplay experience to new players in a single, easy-to-find product. The publisher did not say why the publisher did not say why only owners of the Ultimate Edition get the upgrade, just that it is unfortunately unable to offer an upgrade path to all existing Control players. It's worth keeping in mind that existing owners of Control on PS4 and Xbox One will still be able to play the game on PS5 and Xbox Series X through backwards compatibility, but obviously that won't be the upgraded experience that Remedy is currently working on. Control's Ultimate Edition releases August 27th on Steam, PS4 and Xbox One, and later this year on PS5 and Xbox Series X. There we go. So this one was quite divisive in the chat when we spoke about this last time. We haven't actually seen him back since, but Enix, Jordan, I don't know if you're around, Jordan, was talking about he's heavily against this, which is perfectly fine. He's paid for the standard edition of the game not the ultimate, whatever the one that is before that gives you all the content and all the extra stuff. So naturally, he'd like to be able to play the game on the PS5, which he can do, or on the Series X, which he can do, but he can't play it with all of the graphical fidelity that you get from buying the next gen version. That only comes with the Ultimate Edition. His issue is that he's bought everything else that everyone that he has all of the same content. He should just get the next gen upgrade for free. And that's a valid point. It's a very, very valid point. I was more on the other side of the coin, saying I get what you're saying. You have all of the content. You can play all of that content. You have played through all of that content, and you can take that forward to the next gen console. But you don't have the upgrade. You don't have the next gen upgrade because you haven't bought the next gen edition. The fact that the Ultimate Edition is a current gen game that plays next gen as well is where the frustration comes from. If they just released a PS5 game, then people would have to buy it to play it. Simple as that. Whereas they're releasing the exact same game with that function on the current gen that goes forward is where it annoys people. So yeah, I mean, it's a tricky subject. There is a fine grey area in there, but I think it's enough of a grey area for people to be on either side of the coin, depending on how you see it. But what are your thoughts, babe?
I'm still firmly in the camp that they've known about this coming to PlayStation 5, or they've been working towards it for a while, or long enough for them to be able to justify when they were selling their season passes that they could have added this as a potential new SKU, so that people who are buying the season passes, who bought the game when it first came out, enjoyed it enough to go out and buy a season pass for the game. They've been working on this long enough for them to be able to say, actually, while we're selling the season pass, we'll actually just put the SKU in there for them to be able to, when they put it in the PlayStation 5, they'll be able to play it straight off the bat as well, rather than having to rebuy everything again. I'm still firmly in that camp. I wouldn't have gone as far as what Jordan said, it being a scumbag move. But I do agree with him in the sense that they've known about it long enough to be able to try and make something of it. But they've sold enough copies to be able to justify, I think, a newer version on PlayStation 5, especially for someone like myself who never picked it up originally. If I was going to pick one up now, I probably would wait for the PlayStation. I would buy the Ultimate Edition so I could play it with PlayStation 5. It's just unfortunate that the people who've supported it, who've made this game one of the best-selling games of the year last year,
See, that's
and
the
one of
thing.
the most talked about games this year, that they haven't the opportunity to be able to just play it again on PlayStation 5.
That's the thing. I was listening to Kind of Funny in the shower this morning. They were speaking about this story yesterday. and they were kind of against it generally, mainly because of the way it was phrased and the way it was worded, and even still with this, they're not particularly keen on the way it was worded. But one of the things that Greg Miller said was, I was called him Greg James then, was that that this game didn't actually sell exceptionally well. It was well received and critically acclaimed, he says, but the sell-through of it wasn't actually that great. Quite often, he would see people in the kind of fun chat going, yeah, I like the look of this game. I like what everyone says, but I still need to pick it up. And when you're a publisher like 505 or a developer like Remedy, and you've got a game that you know is successful, then taking every opportunity to remarket that is different from someone that has sold like a Death Stranding has sold a bajillion copies, and then they're releasing one, and then another one, and then another one. That's a bit different as opposed to something that is effectively an indie title. I mean, I don't know if Remedy are classed as an indie or if they're just out of it, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, you can see why they would want to try and maximize that. I think the issue for me, though, like I said last time, the issue for me, it all comes down to transparency. And every avenue we pursued, there was some form of blocker, and those blockers meant that at least one group of players ended up being left out of the upgrade for various reasons. What are those blockers? Why can't you offer an upgrade to standard users? Okay, is that because then you have to give it to everyone? Okay, fair enough. And it costs money to create the upgrade. To do that next gen, fully ray traced, like super HD graphics and stuff, takes time to go through that, and someone has to pay for that. As simple as it is, nothing is free. So the time for people to go and do that, someone needs to pay those wages, and that comes from customers purchasing the product. Simple business. So someone has to pay for it somewhere. So they can't give it the basic users. But do we give it to everyone that has the standard edition or the edition that comes with all DLCs and stuff? Do we give it, if you bought everything, do we just give it to you then? I mean, that's more possible, but they're saying there's barriers and blockers in there. What is the blocker? The blocker is either PlayStation going, no, it needs to be something signified for next gen, or Xbox going, no, it needs to be something that doesn't just get smart delivery added, but it needs to be something that has been developed with smart delivery in mind and marketed as a smart delivery product. We don't want smart delivery as just be a way to have free forward compatibility. I mean, is it that? And if it is one of those, then they can't say anything about that, because you bet your hat that PlayStation and Microsoft are going, okay, don't talk about that, because this is part of our exclusivity and NDA sort of agreement of how next gen and stuff works. So maybe they're held off on that. But it's also likely that the blocker is, okay, we're not just going to make money off that. And if it is the money one, then there's nothing wrong with that. If a developer, publisher wants to make money off of a game, there is nothing wrong with that. Nobody wants them to make money off of us unfairly. But if it is that, just say, look, we would like to do it, but the development costs and resources and stuff it would take to do that, we understand you would like to play it, and the only way we can bring this to you is to have it as a standalone thing that pays for itself, because we don't have the funds for it. If you did that, you guarantee people would be a bit pissed going, well, you've sold a shitload already. But a lot of people would be like, do you know what? We appreciate your honesty and your effort. I mean, look at I always forget the name of it. The little spaceship game that was crap, but is now good. Look at the what's it called?
No Man's Sky.
That's it. No Man's Sky. Look at
the little spaceship game.
It's not the first time I've called it that. I called it that last time when I said, what's it called? The shit little spaceship game. But it was a shit little spaceship game, and then it turned into something that exactly what the fans wanted it to be. And as a result of that, the developers had a billboard bought for them that said thank you. They bought drinks and snacks and sent them into the office saying thank you, which is amazing, because people liked the transparency and the effort and the honesty. If that blocker is you just want to make money off it, then be honest with it, and your community will absolutely appreciate that much more than going, stuff stopped us. I don't know what it was, but you have to spend the money. Because if they're spending the money, give them legitimate and heartfelt reasons to do so, and then they'll be much more receptive to it. First thing I will be doing is turning off the feedback feature, Salty Dog. So the DualSense 5 is now a DS4. I think that they should have just said it's a financial thing and that they can't cover the cost to upgrade everyone. It would still be bad, but more palatable. 100% agree. I agree. It does cost. And like I said, Remedy aren't a massive brand. 505 games have been involved in some massive games, but aren't necessarily massive themselves as a publisher. And you kind of feel with this being a publishing sort of thing, it's probably more a 505 thing than a Remedy thing as well. So for those of you who don't know, I mean, I'm saying it as if it's common sense, but it's not. I only actually found out when I came into the games themselves. But you can get a developer, which is a company that builds the games, and then you get the publisher, which is the company that essentially puts it in the shops. This is the easiest way of explaining it. And the skills required to put a game into the shops and market it and get adverts and billboards and stuff like that are different from the skills required to building a game. So not often, so it's not always the case that a publisher can develop or a developer can publish. You get some big ones that do publish and develop and self-publish, but then smaller ones need somebody else to help with the publishing. It's a very very common thing in video games. Anyway, 505 Games is the publisher, and you've got to feel that this marketing, this bundling and stuff is a decision of 505. But someone needs to pay for 505's time, and someone needs to pay for Remedy's time for developing it as well. I think if they'd just been a bit more honest with that, then they'd probably have a bit less of a backlash, put it that way. Yes, that statement made it even more cloudy, the decision. 100%. What is a blocker? Every avenue we pursued, okay, so they're walking up streets. There was some form of blocker, and these blockers that meant at least one group of players ended up being left out of the upgrade for various reasons. Every avenue, some form of blocker, these forms of blockers, and various reasons. That's the most vaguest of vague that you could ever vague in your history of vaguing. My God. As of today, we can't offer an upgrade to everyone, and leaving any one group out feels unfair. We understand that is not what you want to hear. Why? What is the blocker? Give us that information, and it's much more palatable. Like I say, I'm on board with the idea of it's the next gen game. It is like buying The Last of Us on PS3 and buying The Last of Us remastered on PS4. It's the same game but better. There's nothing wrong with offering that, and if it comes with all of the Ultimate Edition DLCs and extras and stuff, it's like buying the next gen version with all the extras. Apart from you get it on this generation, I don't have an issue with it. Some people do, and I understand it. I get it. I completely get it. You feel free to have an issue with it. I don't. My issue is with the shittiness around it. Just be honest. If that's what you're doing, just say that's what you're doing. Blocker 1, we can't get money from customer A. Blocker 2, we can't get money from customer B. Exactly. Blocker C, fuck the blockers and take all the money from all the people. Yes! That's the one. Anyway, let's move ahead. On to, actually, which one? We'll move to this one. We'll end with it. We'll end on some good news. So we'll move to this one. You may have seen, when I say may have seen, you may have seen us speaking about it, but Epic and Apple are at loggerheads because Epic, which is a company that earns shitloads of money, believes that Apple, another company that earns shitloads of money, earns too much of their money. I know that's a very, very shitty way of putting it. There is a logical fight within the whole thing. Basically, Epic want Apple to stop charging people as much to put games on their store, which is fine, which is right. But Epic are saying they're doing that on behalf of everyone else and not the millions of pounds that they would save. But anyway, following on from that, going away from the seriousness of that story and the bullshits of the legalities, the class action lawsuits and things that have been filed and so on, we have on eBay, people are selling iPhones with Fortnite installed for thousands of pounds extra. Tagline, unreal. Wes Yin-Poole loves a good tagline. Excuse me, so written by Wes Yin-Poole for Eurogamer. The article says, want Fortnite on your iPhone? There's no way to download it right now. Epic's very public row with Apple over the App Store and the fees it charges mean the world's biggest battle royale is no longer on iOS. If you've got it installed on your phone, you can still play. If you haven't, though, you're out of luck. Realising this, some have taken to eBay to sell their iPhones with Fortnite installed. That's unsurprising. Pretty much the exact same thing happened when mobile hit Flappy Bird. With mobile hit Flappy Bird back in 2014. And remember when Konami pulled Hideo Kojima's horror game PT from the PlayStation Store? People sold their PlayStation 4s on eBay with the demo installed. In fact, they're still doing it. But with Fortnite and an iPhone, I'm seeing absolutely silly numbers being asked for on eBay. Some people are selling their busted up iPhones with Fortnite installed for thousands of pounds extra. The kind of markup that I can't imagine anyone would fall for. Take this listing for an iPhone 11 Pro 512GB, for example. At most, you'd expect rewind. At most, you'd expect to pay £1,500 for that brand new, but this second-hand handset with Fortnite installed, £3,500. I'm only selling due to demand of the game on this phone, the seller said. I'm picking the next one out because I respect the play on words. Apple iPhone 11 64GB with Fortnite installed. Phones less than Fortnite old. Hey. Shame about the price though, £1,750. There are many more examples with iPhones in various states of disrepair up for sale. Do check the small print. It seems like this little spat between Apple and Epic has sparked a perhaps short-lived eBay boom in used phones with Fortnite installed. Will Apple and Epic work out their differences? What happens when Epic updates Fortnite? Will it become unplayable on mobile because users can't download the update? For me, it's worth the wait to find out rather than spend thousands on eBay to play Fortnite right now. Comment in the chat, Madge says, "Oh my god, that headline." Yeah. Would you spend £2,000 to be able to play Fortnite on an iPhone right now? Babe, go.
No.
And
I mean, you can play
the correct
any
answer.
of the consoles I have. And any of the consoles that I have, there's no way that I'm paying £2,000. I mean, how desperate would you want to be to play a game on a phone that you probably have anyway, but you just didn't download it in time?
Yeah. The thing is, though, like £2,000 to play Epic's video game on the worst format you could play it on, mobile. Not that mobile is bad for gaming at all, but mobile games are amazing. Some mobile games are only accessible on mobile, and that's fine. If you're playing a console and PC and Switch, if you class that as a console, which it obviously is, you're playing a game that you can play on that on a mobile. You're not playing the superior version. Fact, it's the inferior version. So why would you spend £2,000 for the ability of doing that? Buy yourself your £1,000 iPhone if that's what you want. Fine, do it. But then you've got £2,000 to buy a brand new PS4, a brand new 4K HDR TV, and then have enough money left over to buy the PS5 when that comes out in a couple of months. All of which you can play Fortnite on. Why? Why you do this? I just don't understand. I don't understand the logic of people. It is bizarre. I mean, you are completely entitled to make your own decisions with your money as to what you want to play. But if you're spending £2,000 to play Fortnite on mobile, get out of this stream right now. Get out of here. Get out of here. No, obviously you can stay, but it's just a bit odd. It's a bit odd. It's a waste of money. Madge says 505 has come a long way since publishing Backbreaker on the Xbox 360. Exactly. I mean, they have done. I mean, I think they publish Assetto Corsa and things like that as well. So they do have some successful like niche games, and they've worked on. I think they did the PC port for Death Stranding, maybe. I can't. I think they did. So they've been involved in some big games. They still aren't massive, but yeah, I agree. They have come a long way. Epic are running a Fortnite tournament with anti-Apple prizes: Samsung phones, PS4, Xbox One. I mean, there's one way to just sit there. That's like. Has anyone seen Ali G the movie where he drives past the police officers and he's kind of like got his finger up like behind the door so they can't see it? He's like, ugh. It's kind of like one of those moves. It's being a dick, but not really being a dick. It's just like look what I'm doing, but not doing. So yeah, that's what it is. Made for mobile games, it can be really good. Port to mobile can be a horrible experience, just like any substandard game port. 100%. Some ports can be amazing. Some ports give you access to games that you'd never be able to touch. Like I have Streets of Rage 2 on my mobile phone, and that's the game that I play whenever I'm on a plane and I've run out of everything else. When I've done my New Star Soccer stuff to death, or when I've got my score here and I've used all of my my free cooldown stuff, then I'll load up Streets of Rage 2 because it's a really good mobile port. Some, not so much. Dan Lad Game says, I never believe that anyone buys those things on eBay. Have you ever sold tech on there just full of scammers? I haven't actually, or have I? I can't remember. Maybe I have. I don't know, but yeah, it absolutely is full of scammers. This is where I wish Jordan was in here right now, because Jordan's been done many times selling old phones and stuff on to eBay and to Facebook, to Marketplace and stuff. Buy a phone, get a controller, play Fortnite and xCloud if you really want to do it on mobile. But not an iPhone, because you can't do it on iPhone either. Fuck! Additionally, we're giving away 1,200 pieces of gaming hardware, phones, consoles, and PCs. Just because you can't play on iOS doesn't mean there aren't other awesome places to play Fortnite. Be one of the top 1,200 Apple eaters globally to win one of these prizes. That's amazing. That's amazing. To be Apple eaters as well. GG. It's such a allergy finger up.
Yeah.
I love how petty they are. Gotta love a good petty argument. Anyway, enough of pettiness. If you're an iOS user and you want to play free games, this is a shit tangent, just go with it. If you want to play free games and you're an iOS user with a PC, then you could play Fortnite there. End of story. But, do you know what? If you don't want to play Fortnite and you have a PC, then, do you know what? You still have the Epic Game Store, right? Right? Everyone's got it by now, right? Oh, well, if you haven't, it might be worth looking into it. And we regularly show you the games that you guys can get free because, you know what? Everyone has a bit of time. They might want to play a new game. They might just think, oh, do you know what? I'm fed up with the games that I have been playing. I need a breath of fresh air. And what better way of doing that than picking up something absolutely free? And the Epic Game Store's next free games have been revealed. There's 2 more on today, actually. I don't know if they came on yesterday, but I've downloaded 2. Well, I've purchased 2 today, or whatever you call it when they're free. I've claimed them. But Hitman and Shadowrun Collection will replace Enter the Gungeon and God's Trigger. That's it, Enter the Gungeon and God's Trigger. Those were them. They're probably games that I will never play, but they were free, so I got them. So Hitman and Shadowrun Collection will be next week's free Epic Game Store titles. They'll replace Enter the Gungeon, which is normally $10.99, and God's Trigger, normally $11.99, which are now free to download until August 27th at 11 a.m. ET or 4 p.m. Our time. The Epic Game Store's free games promotion, which launched alongside the storefront in December 2018, will run throughout 2020. A Total War Saga Troy released exclusively via the Epic Game Store last week and was free to download for its first 24 hours, which I grabbed. During which time the offer was claimed by over 7.5 million players, according to publisher Sega. The PC version of Hitman 3 will be an Epic Game Store exclusive for 1 year, IO Interactive announced on Thursday. As an independent studio, our partnership with Epic has given us the freedom to create Hitman 3 exactly as we imagined and self-publish the game to our players directly, the company said. It's also important to us that we honour the time our existing PC players have spent in our previous games. With that in mind, we are pleased to confirm that PC players will be able to carry over their current progression and unlocks from Hitman 2 on Steam into Hitman 3 on the Epic Game Store. It will also be possible for PC players to import locations from the previous 2 games into Hitman 3 on the Epic Game Store. IO added. So there you go. Hitman and the Shadowrun Collection will replace Enter the Gungeon and God's Trigger next week to be the free games on the Epic Store. But what are your thoughts, Ben?
Free games. Who can argue about free games? Hitman's a bit a massive game, so that's a massive coup for them on there. So yeah, it's free games you can't argue with, especially when they're top tier like that.
Yeah, I agree. The interesting thing within that, though, is, and this is one of the things that was mentioned when we were talking about the Epic and Apple situation last week, is Epic saying that Apple are this big conglomerate that is doing anti-consumer sort of things and price gouging and so on, and things that aren't good for the consumer. But then the very next thing that we talk about, Epic have Hitman 3 exclusive to PC for a whole year before it finally comes out on Steam. Is that anti-consumer? And if it is, why is that one allowed and not the other one?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm all for free games, and I have both launchers. So I mean, I do feel, and maybe it's because I'm late coming into the PC Master Race, but I do feel that it's less of an issue myself, because I don't have a PC Steam library that's built up of millions of games over years. It does have quite a lot in there, but not that many. Probably about on par with Epic now, with the amount of free games that Epic have given me. And I can just install launchers free. I can have both launchers on the same PC for free without having to go out and buy a PlayStation and an Xbox. That store exclusivity doesn't necessarily mean device exclusivity.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing still applies. It's not so much the store exclusivity that's the ongoing issue forward. Is if you start to get all of your games through Epic because of the exclusivities, then they then have the ability to start to run their own monopolies themselves, just like Apple are doing with the App Store. So yeah, it's a bit ironic. It's a bit ironic. I wonder if there will be leaked, fully patched Fortnite apps for jailbroken for Apple stuff coming out sometime soon. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. If not there already, I reckon people will be working. And I wouldn't be surprised if Epic are actually helping them, like on the down low as well. Like this is how you get it. This is what you do. But yeah, Yorkshire tea and crumpets. What a name! What a name! Hands down, the best tea. If anyone has any doubt, Yorkshire tea is the best tea. If you have doubts, then it's okay. People are wrong about things. It's fine. I understand. You're allowed to be wrong. I mean, you're allowed to have doubts. Yorkshire tea and crumpets. Bosh. Anyway, we are done. The time is 3 minutes past 12, so we haven't done too bad. An hour on the money since we went live. So we are going to wrap things up. We're going to drop off because we have the final installment of Masters of the League from this week following on the channel. So if you want to see some PES football content, you want to see Ice Cream uploads FC in the International Champions Cup and the Charity Shield, then stick around on this channel. We have some new signings. I'm going to give you the spoilers now. So if you don't want to see it, if you're watching on YouTube, then stop listening for about 30 seconds. But we've just signed Mason Mount, Phil Foden, and some guy that we'd never even heard of called McNeil, who was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, he was.
As we won our first game in the ICC, the International Champions Cup. The next 2 games, which are the final 2 games, will follow on the stream that follows this. So make sure you jump in for that. We will then jump to the Charity Shield to start off domestic season. Hopefully we can retain the Premier League title that we have just won. If you want to see that will stick around the channel. That will follow in about 10 to 15 minutes time. We're going to go offline, get all of the green screen set up, and come back. Also, there will be Dwight McNeil. That's the one. McNeil. That's all I saw. D. McNeil. I've never even heard of him. But I probably you'll mention him now. But probably not though. So yes, we do have a new thing coming though. There is something cool coming in that. But before we talk about, actually, we're not even going to talk about the cool thing. We're going to leave it as is. One thing I am going to do though is go up here, copy that, and then paste that. So that link should take you through to our social media. We have a poll running. That allows. Oh no, that's not even it. That's the loot drop. Fuck! I thought that was the one that you put in. No, it's that one. Ignore the last link. I mean, don't ignore it if you're an Ice Cream Upload subscriber. Then make sure you check that one out anyway because you get free stuff. But that one should be. There we go. Player of the Season Awards. If you want to get involved with your votes for our Player of the Season, then get involved there. Castolo is one of them. We need a vote on who the other player is going to be. I'll bring it on screen so you can see. Player of the Season Awards. Being champions of the Premier League is not an easy task. However, these players helped immensely on the way to becoming the Kings of England. Vote for your Player of the Season in the poll below. Isak, Alphonso Davies, Dodo, or Matvey Safanov. Which one should get the vote? I mean, that is going to be a long time. Who are you voting for, Graham? Who am I voting for? Do you know what? I'm not going to say because I don't want to influence votes. I'll tell you off stream and then we will see.
Perfect.
Nice. Speaking of off stream, that is where we are going to go right now. But before we do, Bib, is there anything else that you want to add?
Yes, of course. Thank you very much for joining us this week for the scoop. 5 episodes down, 5 more to come next week. With a small little asterisk on top of that. But thank you very much again for joining us for this week. If you do see any video game news over the weekend that you actually want to get our opinions on, come Monday next week, then please feel free to get in contact with us. It's at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, as well as via Discord. The link will be in the panel underneath or on the description. YouTube. Join in there. There's got a little scoop side. All you need to do, drop the link in. Your thoughts and impressions. We will then give our thoughts and impressions. At what time on Monday, Mr. Graham Day? Ish. Stay faster.